Wanted to just record my thoughts on Manchester United 1, Fulham 1. It's Sunday evening. It's about 6 hours after the final whistle at Craven Cottage. No real agenda for it. Just wanted to kind of talk through it, talk through my thoughts, what I saw. Um, Not good enough. And I guess that's where you have to start, is just not good enough. And it's just not going to end well this season if we don't see any better. And I think there's so much optimism as a football club, as a fan base. There's so much optimism going into this game because of the performance against Arsenal, because of the intensity that was shown, because we frankly we took it to Arsenal in that game, which was great. But I had my caution with that because I think that's just how Arsenal played. They got their lead and they knew they could win that match by sitting back and just challenging us to break them down, which we effectively could not do. We had one or two good chances, but that was it. So I think a lot of United fans mistake that for us improving and having more of an actionable game plan to try and prevent Arsenal from being on the ball. But I don't think they wanted to be. Because I think if they wanted to be, they would have had no challenge at all in keeping the ball 80%, 70% of possession. Anyway, back to today. 1-1 result. I think United looked great for the first 10 minutes or so. That was a continuation from the Arsenal game. It looked great. The intensity was high. Cunha had two chances, one of which he definitely should have put away, at least one of the two. It doesn't happen sometimes. It's just with all of the issues scoring, you would just love to see one of those go in because that changes the entire tone of this match. If we are leading, I couldn't tell you the amount of times we've led in matches within 20 minutes. Has it happened at all with Amarim's lead? I don't know. I don't know if it has. Maybe once, maybe. Would have been really nice, but then it kind of just, you could just feel the tempo sort of getting worse, the intensity falling as we went on through the first half. And then we get the penalty, right? Which is never a penalty. We can sort of say it's maybe justice for last week, but never a penalty. Bruno Fernandez has this weird interaction with Chris Kavanagh, the referee, messes up his routine. You can clearly see Bruno was bothered by that whole interaction. It just felt like he didn't have any confidence in that situation. It felt like he was going to miss, and he did. He missed badly. I think it's one thing if that gets saved, if he hits the post, the crossbar, whatever. But he just flat out skied it. There was something going on in his head, and Bruno's as the leader, he's got to be locked in. He can't let that affect him. This team is working around Bruno. He's being forced into this United team in a position that he is not comfortable with because he is a world class player. The only world class player United have is Bruno Fernandez. So you try and get him in the team, but it's just not working because it's with the system that we're playing, it is just leaving so many gaps. And look, for the first 20 minutes of this game today, it was doing fine because the press was doing so well. The gaps between midfield and defense weren't there because we were so far up the field. At the second that we lost confidence and we took a step back right after Bruno missed that penalty, You could see it. The first half, I just wanted the first half to be over because Fulham were on the doorstep. They had chances. Let's get into the locker room. Let's figure something out. Let's come back out here the way we started the first half. That didn't happen. It got a lot worse. And part of me said, part of me thinks we're lucky to even come away with a point today by the end of that game. It just looked absolutely horrific. Ruben Amorim's got to get something right here. He's coached. It's I don't remember the exact stat. He's coached 29 and has 28 points from it. It could be the opposite. Played 28, 29 points regardless. It's borderline relegation form since he took over. 7 wins. That's all he's had since he took over almost a year ago. November is a year ago. It is just so bad. The form is so bad, and he has to figure it out. He has to figure out something. It cannot continue this way with him. And we're gonna get stuck in this same loop again. A new manager will come in. He'll change the way everything works. And then yet again, he'll be thrown under the bus because he can't get it to work with this system of players. The way a manager should be. A manager should come in and get the best out of the squad of players he has, the 25 players he has. He needs to be able to get the best out of those players. If and a manager needs to adapt their system to those players. I've always been very high on this. A manager can over time sort of develop the squad to play how they want to play, but when they first can't come in, they need to equip that squad of players to win as they are. That is the that is the only way. That is the only way you will win in the Premier League. You can't play a system that you do not have the players for. The Premier League is too good. Teams are too good. United up until this last year, have had one of the worst recruitment teams, one of the worst coaching staffs, and it all caught up with us because everyone else in the Premier League recruits better, they sell better, they coach better, they train better, they play better. United's being outdone on all of those fronts. It is just so tough to try and understand what Ruben Amorim has in mind and how he thinks that he's going to be able to get across the line with this team. He's not going to make it. You give him 5 years to implement this system. He might be able to do it just because you sign players that long, you train players in the academy for that long to get them up here. That might work. It could be in League One by then. If you try and play away, that's not going to work. Obviously, that's very dramatic and not going to happen, but who's to say if he tries to do this all season and we can't win matches? We just spent the money we spent and we're still going to finish 15th again? That would be last year was embarrassing. That would be a ginormous and unforgivable failure. Top half. We have, and this is last year was when we said we were hoping to see improvements. We're hoping to see the team look a certain way, look a little bit better positionally in the Premier League. Whatever. We'll let it go this year, but next year there has to be improvements. I was so frustrated watching that game today. United has good players. They have good players in the team. The coach isn't setting them up properly to succeed. I don't know who would come in right now to take over this team instantly make it play better, to make it more cohesive, to play with tactical strengths. I have no idea who that would be, but it can't be Ruben Amorim much longer. And this cannot continue. We have two matches this week. We have Grimsby Town and the EFL Cup, and we have Burnley, a little traffic with the international break. Those two games need to be not only wins, there needs to be some showcase of improvement, of cohesiveness. I want to see what the team is supposed to look like. You look, you take this match and out of this context, Craven Cottage is not an easy place to play. Fulham are capable of beating the best teams in the Premier League. But it's just the regression back to last year that is so worrisome. We had all summer to fix these midfield issues, just bolster the midfield. I like the signings that we made. I like Sheshko. I like Emblemo. I like Cunha. I like all three of those signings. But I do not understand why the decision was made to not sell Bruno Fernandez and play him out of position and also sign a forward for 65 million pounds. That is what I do not understand. Would that money have not been better off spent back in June, July on Carlos Baleba, on Adam Morton? To make that midfield strong, you put Bruno on the forward line. Maybe you sign Shesko still. But that just, I know goals were the problem last year. But if you sort out the midfield, does that not give you a base to build upon? Like I said, I like the signings that we made. I like Cunha. I like him. I think they'll both be good players. But maybe they won't because the rest of the team isn't good enough to give them the platform to be. The theory with Cunha and Blemo should be, look, both of these players had great seasons last year playing for worse teams than Manchester United, but that's not true. Brian Mbeumo took a step down in the Premier League table. Matthias Cunha made a very sideways move. But the notion that they took a step up to a better team is completely not true. This team has a good group of individual players, a really good group of individual players. And if Amarim cannot figure out a way to get these players to play together, to play a cohesive unit, to pick up results, we are done with this style nonsense. He needs wins. He needs 3 points, and he needs them very quickly. Burnley this coming weekend is the closest thing he's had to. He has to win this game. This is the most important game of his managerial career. Because if he does not win that game going into the international break, it is panic stations to the max. It will be over for Ruben Amorim this year. Not maybe not at the time, but people will stop supporting him. And there is a possibility that he isn't good enough, that he isn't good enough tactically to have this job. And is that why he doesn't change it up? Is that why he's incapable of finding these ways to play that can win football matches? Maybe, maybe. And if that's the case, well, here we are. This is what we're going to be seeing all season long. Anyway, positives from today. Thought the defense looked good. I think out of what they were given, I thought it looked okay. I think Luke Shaw was a little bit shaky today. He was excellent against Arsenal. Little shaky today. Defense still good. We look dangerous from set pieces, attacking set pieces. That is, I think we look pretty dangerous, especially when we put Harry Maguire in there. But we have a big defense. Lenny Yoro got his, we'll say his goal. I know it wasn't credited to him, but he got his head on it, put it off Mooney's and in the back of the net. Um, so positive there. Like I said before, Cunha looked fantastic in the opening couple of minutes. Two very high quality chances to begin the game. If those go in, it's a different game, and we're having a different conversation right now. Leads me swiftly into player ratings from today. Start with Brian Deere. The ball that he put in for Cunha in early in the game was fantastic. He should have had an assist. I mean, that was great. Other than that, I don't know if he did a whole lot wrong. He is just so weak from corners. It's too easy to play against United on corners. He has to have more command. He has to be stronger. Every time anyone approaches him in his 6 yard box, it looks like he's gonna fall over. But for what he's being asked to do, I think he was fine today. I'll give him a 5. Certainly, Lenny Yoro again. Lenny Yoro, the class of the defense, the class of the team. Lenny Yoro is fantastic. Um, Lenny Yoro was fantastic, and he continues to improve. I heard this stat today, listening to Stephen Howson and Rio Ferdinand. Lenny Yoro has never been in the starting 11 in a match for Manchester United in which they have beaten a team currently in the Premier League. That is devastatingly shocking. Incredibly shocking and worrisome. Unbelievable. But he was great again, as he continues to be. He gets a 7 for me too. Center back, Delight. Thought he commanded the back line well. He seems to be a real good fit for that position. He seems to really have an understanding of how Amarim wants that back three to work. I was impressed by him again. Thought he was super stable, steady, won a lot of headers. Didn't really look out of place at all in the match. So he gets a 6 for me. Left side of defense was Luke Shaw again. I think a little bit shaky today. I think he certain times I don't think he's got the same level of one-on-one defending he used to. So when he gets exposed out on that wing, it's very difficult for him to recover. He needs more support. I don't think he was overwhelmingly terrible. I don't think he did much wrong. I don't think he did much right. He gets a 5. In the midfield, we'll start with Amad Diallo. I thought it was one of Ahmad's poorest games for United. I think he looked out of the pace the whole game. He did not look involved, and when he did, he was giving the ball away. His passing was not crisp, but he was really poor today. Really poor. Offered almost nothing going forward. Really could not play on that side of the field at all. Amad Diallo gets a 4 for me. Patrick Dorgu, kind of similar story, was a little bit more involved, but was really sloppy today. Looked nothing like he did in that Arsenal game. I don't think the match was necessarily set up for him. It just didn't give him a lot of chance to show his quality. That being said, he gets a 5. Right. In the midfield, now this is where it's difficult. This is where it's difficult to decide whether this is Ruben Amorim's system that makes the players look so poor. Casemiro was awful today. I mean, he just wasn't involved in the game, and that to have your one of your main creators in your midfield is not involved in the game is just really poor. Um, Still a yellow card, lacks discipline somehow coming from Real Madrid, but he was one of the best players in the world at staying out of trouble, playing aggressive but staying out of trouble. He has lost that ability. Casemiro gets a 4 for me. Bruno Fernandez. It's hard to think of many worse performances I've seen from Bruno Fernandez in a United shirt. Even if you take the missed penalty out of the game, he's giving the ball away. He was flustered. He was out of the flow of the game for so much of it. And for a player that you are relying so heavily on to be the heartbeat of the team, simply cannot have a game like this. There cannot be a drop off of a game like this. It has to be better from Bruno Fernandez. You had the missed penalty in there, which changes the game. No fault of his. You shouldn't. Penalties are effectively a 1 in 4 chance of making it or missing. Excuse me. Should not affect the game the way it did, but it did. Bruno Fernandez has to have a 3 for his performance today. The forward line. We'll start with Matthias Cunha, who I thought was really good. For the first half, but he was really good. I thought even the second half, when the team struggled to create, he was involved. He seemed to be trying to get things to come across. I thought him and Lenny Yora were United's best players today. I give Cunha a 7 for the performance today. If he finishes off some of those chances, or either of those chances, it goes up to 8. The goals will come for Cunha. I do believe that. It's just how does the team look around him when Chesko is in the team? Brandon Bueno just has to be a 5. Wasn't involved in the game. Put in a great ball for Lenny Yoro's header at the own goal, but just wasn't involved in the game. Didn't have a lot going on. Didn't really have any opportunities in front of the goal. Uninspiring. 5. Mason Mount. This is a Mason Mount was very positive in the first half. I think he led the press well. I think he set the tone for the first 20 minutes of the match. I think he was really good. And I think this is United fans will love to see this. After him missing out for so long, love to see him bringing something to the team, bringing something like this that I don't think any of the other players in the team can. The only thing you're missing in that case is you're missing a number 9 if he's playing there. You don't have a finisher in the box. He moved back to central midfield when Casemiro was subbed off. Did not look in place. I was baffled when I saw that. You're playing 2 players that are box crashers in central midfield. Did not understand that. No fault of his own. I think it's a 6 for Mason Mount. Quick run through the substitutes. Chesko didn't have a whole lot to do. Didn't really get a lot of service. Had a couple of good touches, but that's just not where we want to see him get the ball. I don't believe he touched the ball in the box at all. So not really anything to judge there yet. He needs to start. I'm hoping he will start against Grimsby. I'd love to see a front 3 of himself, Xerxes, and then maybe Bruno, maybe Cunha, and Mbamo, whatever fitness is like. But I'd like to see something like that. Other substitutes for the game. We had Maguire and Evan come in at the end, strictly for aerial presence. Um, Nothing really to note in that situation. Diogo Dallo was really poor. Really poor as giveaway, gave up the goal. I don't, necessarily blame it all on him, but it was a really poor performance from Diogo Dallo. And if we did make a my fifth substitution. It is eluding me, but all in all, just really disappointing. Really disappointing. Was really excited coming into today. I really thought it was a chance for us to build on the Arsenal game, show that there is really visible progress, but that was very clearly not the case today, and there would be much more improvement needed. But Cameroon's got to get something right. It's a big week for United. It shouldn't be a big week when you have Grimsby and Burnley, but it's a big week. We need to see two ends, and hopefully, when I'm back on here again, it'll be a positive conversation. But thanks for listening. Bye.